is an example of what we call bog bodies, mummified from the Iron Age.
You see his penis has been severed and hung around his neck.
I love the scene with the two of you kind of trying to one-up each other when it comes to knowing about the bog bodies. Can you two talk about working with each other on that scene? Because it's just one of my favorites in this movie.
Brilliant. Well, it all started in the rehearsal.
No, please, you go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, you go. I mean, women's first, right? No, it's just, we started to have fun like that in the rehearsal room. Germany and France trying to just, be the leader, have the last word. And my character's a know-it-all. And it annoys her, so it was really funny.
Given that the Germany is the kind of the host, and so taking on that role, and I think playing into those cultural stereotypes was really great fun. I think, but the competitiveness of it was really, and you can see that from the body language because of course the G7 meet. And they have a theme, and they have all these cultural experiences, and they share this. They may be from different cultures and speak different languages, but they share this same awkward sort of body language. Yeah. But it is interesting. You can tell from that body language that there's a power play going on between all the leaders, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that makes it so fun to watch. And the scene where Hilda tells Cardosa about the play she was in is so cringeworthy in the most delicious way.
No, she wanted to be an actress.
I know. I was curious.
I wanted to be an actress once.
Yeah.
Look at me now.
Yeah. What do you think ultimately drew her in the political direction instead of, following her dreams on stage?
Yes, that she had to let go of her love of eugenics. It was for a German to say that, it was just so wicked. It's what drives anyone to become a leader. I think it's opportunity, and let's face it, there aren't a lot of examples of female political leadership. Being the only one in the room, I think, is quite exhausting. I did see there's a lot of footage of the G7 meeting, and it's quite hysterical and awkward and weird. But there was one moment where Angela Merkel was saying, taking Obama to the car, and she was waving goodbye. And Merkel is famously poker face. And I didn't base my character on Merkel, but she looked so lost when he got into the car, as if finally my one ally has gone and I'm by myself. She didn't sort of know what to do. And I think there's a strange complicity that they really understand the global focus and responsibility, but yet their inability to reach any, the expectation that is on them as politicians and leaders. It must be quite lonely.
It is very lonely, those solitudes. You understand each other.
And that's in the movie, strangely. It's so weird and deliberately bonkers. And punk, as you say, it's really punk, but it is also it's like Guy is as a filmmaker. He's quite exposed and raw and melancholy at times.
There's a sadness about and a poetry about Guy that you can find in all the movies and in this one as well.
Yeah, and a ridiculousness.
That leads really well into my next question, because the director said something in the press notes that I found really interesting, which is that they start from a place of disingenuousness, but arrive at sincerity ultimately. And I think a really great example of that is when we see Sylvain, as he's being carried, talk about how being vulnerable is all people in leadership really want. I'm curious for you, Denis, can you break down that sort of character moment?
When he's being carried, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful monologue that Evan wrote. And it's about letting yourself go of being vulnerable. I think that's what I do for a living, if I'm honest with you. I'm not afraid of just being, vulnerable. So it was, and I based it on the death of Cyrano de Bergerac by Edmond Rostand, which is a specific play, and so I based it on that moment.
Yeah, it really shines through, and it made me feel, even in the midst of all this absurdity going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a true ensemble piece with a lot of different personalities happening. And obviously you both embody your characters so flawlessly, but I'm curious, if you could play any other character in this ensemble, who would you most like to sink your teeth into?
Oh. I see. I just think everyone's so perfect in it. I mean, often I would turn to Rolando, who was playing the Italian Prime Minister. He doesn't have a lot of lines,
No.
and he was a little bit like Manuel in Fawlty Towers. Like you're like, like he didn't know what was going on, And so he was so perfect. I can't imagine even competing or doing anything better or different than any choice that was made by anyone. It was so strangely perfectly cast.
It is perfect the way it is.
For sure. And I mean, there's so many rich characters. And obviously, this movie is about the G7 summit. But if you could make this the G8 summit by adding any characters you all have played in your careers into the mix, who would you most like to see take on this wild bog people situation?
Bob Dylan.
I'd love to see what Bob Dylan would do with us. What about you?
I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah, we don't wish that upon anybody. It's too much going on.
I know. But let's. I think if people go and see this movie, they will look at the next G7 summit with quite a different light. Quite a different light.
We'll make it popular again.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They'll get more. Their viewership will go through the roof.
It's free advertisement for the G7. I love that.
That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, the dialogue of this movie is also so funny. And I feel like when they're trying to draft the statement, everyone is kind of saying a whole lot of nothing all of the time.
But that's political speak, right?
Yeah. I'm curious how you sort of tackle that, because it feels like a whole unique sort of language that you're speaking all of its own. What is your sort of approach to, I guess, making that believable? Because I believe that they believe what they're saying is important.
But that sometimes happens to me when I read the trades. There's a whole language in the trades where you go, even the term helmer, like, you don't use the word director, such and such is helming it. It's I don't know, there's a kind of a double speak in our industry as well that's partly military, that takes itself very seriously as well. So
not to take any risk or to offend or, put yourself on the line.
Absolutely. Another similarity between theater and politics. There you go. Well, thank you guys so much. Congratulations on the movie. And I can't wait for everyone else to get to go on this ride as well.
Thank you. I hope they
you.
do. I hope they enjoy it.